Evelyn Hollow here, and today is Star Wars Day, May the 4th. I am so excited to create some Star Wars fan art today. And first I had to choose on who I was going to create fan art of, and it wasn't that hard as I picked my favorite Star Wars character, Ahsoka. And Anakin is a very close second, and like Obi-Wan's really cool too, but just Ahsoka is just so brave and smart, and she's just so cool. If you do not know who Ahsoka is, she's not in any of the Star Wars movies, but she is in the Clone Wars. There's 7 seasons, and you see her from a little kid, and then she grows up to a teenager, and she just gets her personality and her character development just gets so much better as the series goes on. And she also appears in Star Wars Rebels, another animated TV series, and in The Mandalorian, which is very cool. Both of her cameos in those series are just so cool, and it's so cool to see her again. On my Instagram, I have done some fan art of her before. I did a little clay, like, it's supposed to be like a Funko Pop figure, but I couldn't buy one, so I made one out of clay, and then I've also done like a little simple drawing of her, and here is the one I did last year of the May the 4th drawing, and I didn't want to copy it again and do like 6 different Star Wars characters. I wanted to do something a little bit different, so I had to brainstorm for a while. Looking back at this painting, it really reminds me how much I did not know what I was doing on Critter. It's pretty bad, the shading and everything. I hope to do a better job this year. So my original plan for this drawing was to do something simple, like just a portrait of like one Ahsoka, and knowing me, I couldn't just do something simple. I had to put a lot of effort and make it a bit more over the top than just one Ahsoka. So I did 4 Ahsokas. So why I chose 4 Ahsokas was because she just has so many different eras of like her character development and different series. She has different outfits, and Clone Wars she goes through like 4 different ones, so I didn't use all of them, but I had to pick my favorites. So first I did a light sketch using light blue, and then I go on with a darker blue just so I can see the details a bit more clearly. Now you might have noticed there are 2 other characters that are not Ahsoka. I couldn't just do Ahsoka, she is my favourite, but so is Anakin, so I had him there to represent their connection, as like they were so close, they were like brother and sister, and he helped like brought up Ahsoka a lot, and since she was his Padawan, they were just so sweet, and I'm so sad. As you know, Anakin is Darth Vader, so they have a sad meetup in Star Wars Rebels. I will not spoil it, but it's so sad. And then I also have little baby Grogu, because to represent her time she was in The Mandalorian, as I didn't really want to do that outfit because it wasn't really my favourite, and it was quite similar to the other one she had, so I did a little Grogu instead, which I'm not mad about. He is adorable. And she's also the first one that tells us who Grogu's name is, which I think is pretty cool. I changed this Ahsoka's pose because I thought she looked too similar to the one on right, and it looked a little off balance, so I made her more the fighting pose, and I think she looks a lot better. So you might have noticed this drawing is sped up a lot more than what I normally do with my videos. It is sped up 32 times, and it's because this one is officially my longest drawing I've ever done, which I think is pretty cool. It holds its record at the moment at 15 hours. I spread it out over a week. I did not do it in one day. I could not do that, but it was very hard towards the end. A lot of times I wanted to stop because it was getting hard, but then I remembered why I was doing it is because I haven't done many drawings for myself lately, and I really was excited to finish this, so I'm glad I pushed through and I did. My other longest drawing was my How to Train Your Dragon Toothless. That was only 11 hours and this was 15, so it was quite a big difference, but I'm really happy with it. This version of Ahsoka that I am colouring right now, this outfit is from the end episode, the last episode, like the last clip of Star Wars Rebels. I have no idea why she has a white cloak and a white staff. There is some things that could link up with it, but I don't want to spoil it too much. But it leaves on such a big cliffhanger, and I don't know any of the answers on why she has this outfit. It looks really cool, but I really want to see what the series ends up like. It just ends on such a big cliffhanger, and I really want to know. That sounded very confusing, but if you watch the TV series, you'll understand that ending and why it's so confusing, and I want so many answers. But anyway, back to the drawing. I repositioned her arm as I thought it looked a little like short. It didn't look quite right, so at least that was helpful. I didn't fully color it in, so it was easy to change. Now on to Grogu. Isn't he just a little cute guy? Oh, he's so adorable. So I tried my best to make it still look not so terrifying, because the real Grogu is far from terrifying. He's absolutely adorable, but sometimes my drawings of him have been a little scary, let's just say that. But I tried my best, and I think he came out pretty cute. Here's what my old fan art looked like. I thought I had to show you. It's pretty bad. I resketched her face as I thought the proportions were a bit off. This outfit of Ahsoka is also from Star Wars Rebels. I just started on a bit of her face, and then I also moved on back to Grogu just to do some shading. Also, the last episode of Mandalorian, I did cry a lot. It was so heartbreaking seeing them say goodbye to each other, Grogu and the Mandalorian. It was just so sad. I was really worried though one of them was gonna die, so at least that didn't happen. But it was just heartbreaking. He was just a child, and he was like his father. It was so sad. But at least the bright side is that the Boba Fett series looks pretty cool. I'm very excited for that. But I don't know if we'll ever see Grogu again, and that makes me so sad. Anyway, back to Ahsoka. The Rebels, the Star Wars TV series, is very cool. It's a bit of a different art style than the Clone Wars. It took me a bit to get used to. But the characters, Ezra and Kanan and Hera, Sabine, Zeb, and there was a lot more. They were all just so cool together, and it was a bit different because I realized in Rebels they're kind of always losing, which was interesting because I feel like the Clone Wars, obviously until the end, it felt like they were always winning, and in the movies they were always like gaining things and winning, but Rebels, they would win a little bit and then just crash back down and lose like everything all again. And it sounds really sad, but it was really well like written and just very interesting and made me keep wanting to watch. And the last episode was just so sad. Again, I cry a lot, but I cried at the ending too. It was just, oh, it was so sad. Also, how could I forget Chopper, their little droid they had on their ship? He was a funny little character. He was a bit more different personality than the other droids. He was really funny. We also get to see Darth Maul in the series. He's really cool, and they explore the Mandalorians a lot more, and I learned so much about them. They were very interesting to learn about, but so cool. Ahsoka comes a little bit later in the TV series, but she comes face to face with Darth Vader, aka her old master, Anakin, and it's such a well written, and the animation was just so well done. It was so impacting that moment. It was so scary. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I tried playing around with the background color a little bit. I did a light orange, but I ended up changing the background completely, but I thought it would be a good idea just so I can see the colors a bit more clearly, because the white is so bright. I can't really see Ahsoka's white outfit very well. So now we are on to another Ahsoka, our third one. We're almost there, and this is my favorite outfit of hers. I love the red dress, and she has her green lightsabers and her cool like jewelry headpiece. And she's really fun in that TV series. Like Ahsoka and Anakin are kind of a bit competitive in the series, and Obi-Wan. So it was last year actually when I watched all of the Star Wars movies, and during lockdown I watched with my family the first time Star Wars Rebels. We watched the ending of the Clone Wars. We also watched Star Wars Resistance. That didn't have Ahsoka in it, but that was a really fun TV series, and it was just so much fun. I had like a very Star Wars filled year, and this year I'm hoping to rewatch Rebels again because it feels like so long since I last did, and I'm sure there's lots I've forgotten about it, but the parts I did I remember were really good. I'm also planning to watch the Clone Wars too, as I've rewatched all the Marvel movies in order. Took a long time doing that, but I really enjoyed that, so now I'm feeling in the mood to watch more Star Wars. So I didn't want all the Ahsokas to have the exact same colour skin or the exact same colour horns, so I did vary the colours a little bit. Like this Ahsoka's got a bit more of a warmer skin colour than the others. Now I'm just adding her white lightsabers. She used to have 2 green ones, but as she got older and after the events of the destruction of the Jedi and some events beforehand, her view of the Jedi changed a lot, and she's not really a Jedi, she's more like a grey Jedi. She doesn't call herself one anymore, but she still uses lightsabers, which I think is really cool. So for the painting process, it's mainly just a lot of layers going back and forward. I'm not the most experienced at Critter. I think there's many shortcuts I need to learn to make my drawing process a lot easier, but this drawing was a lot easier than last year's because I remember I did not really understand layers at all, and so that's very helped this time. But I really need to learn some more tips and tricks because this takes me a while, and I'm pretty sure there's easier ways to draw on here. One thing I really liked was how they ended the Star Wars The Clone Wars. Is the ending we already knew because we've seen it in the prequels, you know, Anakin turning to Darth Vader, but it was very interesting seeing the event happen through Ahsoka's eyes. It was so sad, like she was supposed to see Anakin and all these things, and she's with the clones when Order 66 happens, and it's just whoa, it's just a whole new side, and she sadly has to, you know, kill her best friends. Like she's always been so nice to the clones, and it's just so sad to see them having to turn on each other. And through that series, I really enjoyed how they would randomly drop little scenes of Anakin acting very evil. You can slowly see him turning more to the dark side, and it's just kind of funny. I don't know why, but it's just you see him snap sometimes, and it's much more gradual rather than the movies, of course, because they didn't have as much time. But it's very cool to see the event more spread out, and they could add in a lot more detail to the series. But now we are on to Anakin. So I had a very hard time with Anakin's face. Now, Ahsoka's the other faces I found quite easy, so at least I didn't have a super hard time with their faces. But Anakin, he looks really just something's off with his face for a very long time. By the end, I think I fixed it, and I really like how it turned out. But the sketch, I don't know if that's what was wrong, but all the colouring, his skin just looked a little muddy for too long, and it was really something. I changed his eyebrows heaps. I didn't know what size to make them, but it's really to do with his lips that I changed later on. I really liked his hair though. I like how I drew it and I really like how it came out, but I just can't tell if it's because everything else was just so bad about his face that it made the hair look even better. But you know, I can't be too hard on it. I do think I fixed it later on. I'm never going to be happy with it, I think. Okay, you know, the face isn't that bad. I might have been a bit too harsh on him, but here, right here is when I put the very dark shadows in, he looks the worst. So I gave myself a break from the face for a moment and started to add more depth, the highlights and the shadows to his hair. But out of everyone's faces here today, Anakin's is what I spent the most on out of all of them. I think it was just because the Clone Wars, he has that sort of grumpy kind of look, but he also looks very cool at the same time. But I made him smile on this because I didn't want to make him look too mad. I wanted him to be happy since he was with Ahsoka. Oh, that makes me so sad thinking they're not together anymore. I tried to change his eye shape because I thought that was what the problem might have been with his face. Turns out it wasn't. He looked terrifying with little eyes, but it's okay, I fixed them. I mirrored his face and wow, you could see all the mistakes. I eventually went back and fixed his face, but I moved on to my last and final Ahsoka. This is her outfit from season 7, the last episode. Oh, it was so sad, but in this one she's wearing a full blue outfit instead of her old red one. So right here is where I lost a bit of footage. As you can see now, he's wearing his Jedi robes, and I've shaded them. And I go back to trying to fix his face. I don't know if you can see it, but something's still off with him. I did decide to change up the proportions a bit on her face compared to my other ones. I did more of a smaller eyes and smaller lips, but I really wanted to do like big eyes and big lips. I thought she looks adorable. So now I'm just adding more highlights to her face, around her cheekbones, especially her nose, forehead and chin, as those are the highest parts on her face. And we are coming near the end of this painting. I really enjoyed this process. There were times where I really didn't. I will say when I lost a lot of footage during the end, I was very disappointed, but overall I'm really glad I could still finish the drawing. I didn't lose too much progress and I did have some really fun times. Like, I really enjoyed making this painting more for myself. Of course, I was like a big goal. This is the first year I've had my YouTube channel and I was like, oh, I'd love to post a video for May the 4th, so I'm super happy I got to that deadline and this was a fun challenge for me and I'm very excited for May the 4th. Today, the day I'm editing it, is the day before and I'm super excited to watch the Bad Batch, which comes out today, and I'm probably going to bake something Star Wars and just have a relaxing day. So for the background, I did end up changing it to a blue with white in the background. I played around with shapes. I didn't film this part as I tried many different backgrounds and it took me a long time. I thought it'd be just quite boring to look at. I went through like 4 different versions and I really liked this texture brush that I used. Off camera, I do go around and touch up little bits and pieces, just little smudges I've got on certain parts of the painting, but here it is completely finished. I am so pleased, so proud, and so happy with it. I'm thrilled with how it turned out, and as soon as I get the chance, I'm going to print it out and frame it, because I love having like fan art around my room, and it was so fun to like have a goal and complete it. Oh, so rewarding. I hope you have a happy Star Wars day and thank you so much for watching, and most of all, may the 4th be with you.